Welcome to Chroma Celebs. I'm Rose, bringing you the latest shocking updates on Sister Wives. Unexpected twists, emotional moments, and unbelievable drama. Stay tuned till the end. Sister Wives Robyn and Kody Brown drop polygamy bombshell. The world of Sister Wives has never been short on surprises, tension, or jaw-dropping revelations, but the latest development involving Kody Brown and his fourth and now only remaining wife, Robyn Brown, has shattered long-held beliefs about their commitment to the central tenet of the show, polygamy. For over a decade, the Brown family was seen as the face of modern polygamous life. Kody Brown, once the energetic and faith-driven patriarch, led his four wives, Mary, Yanel, Christine, and Robyn, through the many highs and lows of plural marriage. But as time passed, relationships began to fracture, and the once expansive household dissolved until only Robyn remained. Now, in a move that has sent shockwaves through fans and family alike, Kody and Robyn have revealed that they are stepping away from polygamy for good, effectively turning their once plural union into a monogamous marriage. This revelation came during a filmed but not yet fully aired segment, parts of which have already leaked through insiders connected to production. According to those who witnessed the moment firsthand, Kody appeared somber but firm in his tone, while Robyn's demeanor shifted between sadness and relief. The two admitted that while they had once believed polygamy was their divine calling, the collapse of the family and the toll it had taken on everyone involved had led them to reconsider. Kody was particularly direct, stating that he no longer believed plural marriage was the right path for him, and Robyn tearfully confirmed that she had come to the same conclusion, though not without a long internal struggle. Kody Brown's journey toward this bombshell decision has not been without its signals. For several seasons now, viewers have witnessed his growing frustrations with managing multiple relationships. His ability to maintain harmony among his wives has crumbled, especially after Christine's decisive exit and Yanel's more reserved but equally firm decision to live independently. Mary, too, eventually accepted that her spiritual marriage to Kody had ended in every practical sense. Fans and critics alike had begun speculating that Kody no longer had the will or emotional energy to sustain plural marriage, but few expected him to publicly renounce it. His identity had been so closely tied to the principle of polygamy that this announcement represents not just a shift in lifestyle, but a seismic redefinition of his core values. Robyn's part in the announcement is equally complicated. Long viewed as the favorite wife, she had for years been the only spouse with whom Kody maintained a consistently affectionate and emotionally present relationship. Her closeness to him and perceived influence within the family led many viewers to blame her for the breakdown of the other marriages. She was seen by some as a divisive force, someone who may have undermined the plural family structure from within. But in this moment of truth, Robyn opened up about her internal battle with guilt and disappointment. She confessed that she had joined the Brown family with the sincere intention of living in a plural marriage for the rest of her life. She spoke about dreaming of sisterhood and raising children in a big, busy home full of shared responsibilities and companionship. What she never anticipated, she said, was that her relationship with Kody would become the focal point of resentment, or that the dream of plural unity would eventually become a source of pain for everyone involved. The confession has prompted both sympathetic and skeptical responses. Some viewers feel a sense of validation, having long believed that Robyn and Kody were never truly committed to maintaining equal relationships with the other wives. Others feel heartbroken, particularly those who had seen Sister Wives as a rare and earnest attempt to normalize a lifestyle often misunderstood or maligned. For these fans, the news feels like the death of a dream. The Brown family was, in many ways, an emblem of polygamy that challenged stereotypes. Now, with this decision, it seems even the strongest believers have abandoned the principle. Behind the scenes, the fallout has been intense. Sources close to the production team suggest that the other Brown women were informed about Kody and Robyn's decision before the public announcement, but none of them responded favorably. Christine was reportedly unsurprised but critical, seeing it as the final admission of what she'd known for years, that Kody never really treated plural marriage with fairness or reverence. Yanel, typically more private and reserved, was said to have been deeply disappointed. She had made personal sacrifices to live this lifestyle, raising her children in a structure that in hindsight she now sees was never sustainable. Mary's reaction was more complex. Having lived in emotional limbo for years, her feelings were a mixture of resentment, grief, and liberation. Beyond the immediate family, the bombshell has reverberated through the broader polygamist and ex-polygamist communities. Leaders from the Apostolic United Brethren and similar sects have reacted with cautious commentary. Some express concern that Kody's very public renunciation of polygamy might give fuel to anti-polygamist sentiments or even damage ongoing legal and social reform efforts aimed at decriminalizing consensual plural unions. Others, especially from more progressive branches of fundamentalist Mormonism, saw the announcement as a natural consequence of human complexity. For them, Kody's departure from polygamy wasn't a betrayal. It was a deeply personal decision that reflected the emotional realities of the lifestyle rather than an ideological failure. Social media has erupted with commentary. Hashtags like #PolygamyNoMore, #CodyQuitsPluralLife, and #Robyn+Monogamy have trended for days, with reactions ranging from triumphant celebration to profound sadness. Some former fans of the show expressed anger, accusing Kody of stringing along his wives for years under a belief he never fully embraced. Others blamed Robyn for monopolizing Kody's attention and ultimately driving a wedge between the other relationships. But a surprising number of fans expressed empathy for Robyn, saying that she seemed genuinely hurt by the way things turned out and that her decision to remain with Kody, even at the expense of the polygamous dream she once cherished, was born out of loyalty and emotional survival, not manipulation. Kody has since followed up his initial announcement with a more detailed reflection, hinting at a spiritual crisis that had been brewing for years. He admitted that the collapse of his marriages had forced him to confront his understanding of faith and family. He said that while he once viewed plural marriage as a sacred calling, he now sees that it may not be compatible with the kind of emotional presence and intimacy he wants to offer in a relationship. He talked about failure, not just his own, but the systemic failure of a belief system that sometimes values obedience over emotional truth. In choosing Robyn alone, Kody claims he is not rejecting God, but instead seeking a different path towards spiritual fulfillment, one based in honesty, exclusivity, and simplicity. The emotional core of this decision lies in Robyn's continuing loyalty. She admitted that for a long time, she held on to the hope that the family could be rebuilt. She kept the doors open, tried to mediate the cracks, and begged Kody not to give up on his other relationships. But as time wore on and as Kody's disillusionment with plural marriage deepened, she had to accept a painful truth. The family as it once existed was never coming back. Her choice to stay with Kody and support his decision, she says, was not born out of victory but out of resignation. The woman once accused of winning the competition for Kody's heart now appears burdened with the weight of that victory. The children, too, have reportedly reacted in diverse ways. Some of the older kids, particularly those from Christine and Yanel, have been candid in the past about their skepticism of polygamy. For them, the announcement confirms what they long suspected, that their father's heart was never evenly shared among his wives. Others have expressed concern for their mothers, who sacrificed personal fulfillment for years to uphold the ideals of plural living. There's a quiet, growing acknowledgement among the younger generation of Browns that perhaps their family structure, once seen as noble, was always flawed in execution. With this stunning departure from polygamy, the future of Sister Wives as a show is uncertain. Can a series built around the dynamics of a plural family survive now that the plural part is gone? Producers are reportedly considering rebranding the show to focus on the individual journeys of the wives post-separation, possibly shifting focus away from Kody altogether. Christine's new marriage and Yanel's independent lifestyle are already garnering attention, while Mary's business ventures and spiritual healing offer fresh content for a franchise in transition. Robyn and Kody, meanwhile, may evolve into a couple-centered storyline, though their perceived role in the disintegration of the family may make them less appealing as main characters moving forward. No matter what direction the show takes, the announcement by Robyn and Kody Brown marks a historic turning point, not just for Sister Wives, but for the public image of modern polygamy. What began as an experiment in plural love documented for all the world to see, has now ended in monogamous retreat. And as the dust settles, one thing becomes clear: the dream of a large, loving plural family once carefully curated for the cameras, has unraveled not with explosive drama, but with quiet confessions, broken expectations, and a final, decisive shift away from the belief that love can be evenly divided among many. Whether seen as betrayal or evolution, Robyn and Kody's choice represents a reality that many within the world of polygamy understand all too well: that sharing a life, a home, a husband, and a faith with multiple partners is a task fraught with challenges that no doctrine or dream can fully overcome. Their story, once held up as a symbol of unity, has become a cautionary tale of what happens when ideals are crushed beneath the weight of human emotion. As they step into their new chapter as a monogamous couple, the world watches, not with admiration, but with the sober curiosity of an audience that has seen too much to believe in happy endings. Sister Wives star Kody Brown faces backlash after cringy tell-all behavior. In the world of reality television, where emotions run high and personal stories are laid bare for public consumption, few shows manage to captivate audiences quite like Sister Wives. And at the center of this ever-evolving tale of polygamy, betrayal, and emotional fallout stands Kody Brown, the patriarch who once sought to balance the hearts and needs of four very different women. But as the chapters of the Brown family's story unfold, viewers have increasingly found themselves questioning not only the structure of plural marriage but the character of the man who orchestrated it. The recent Sister Wives tell-all episode ignited a firestorm among fans, and Kody Brown's behavior during the televised event is now being scrutinized like never before. From defensive outbursts to awkward confessions, his cringy conduct is making waves across social media, leaving many to wonder if the once charismatic polygamist has completely unraveled. The backlash didn't begin overnight. In truth, it's been brewing for years as fans watch the dissolution of his plural marriages play out on national television. Kody, once seen as the glue holding together an unconventional family unit, has increasingly come across as combative, defensive, and emotionally disconnected. The tell-all special was intended to provide clarity, closure, and perhaps even redemption. Instead, it has magnified the very traits that have alienated him from not only his former wives but also a large segment of his viewing audience. The tone of the tell-all was set early on, as Kody walked onto the set with a strange mix of swagger and defensiveness. Gone was the warm, affable man who once preached about the joys and challenges of plural marriage. In his place stood someone visibly hardened by the toll of public scrutiny and personal failure. As he sat down across from the show's host, the tension was already palpable. His body language, stiff posture, forced smiles, occasional eye rolls, spoke volumes before he even opened his mouth. One of the most talked-about moments came when Kody was asked to reflect on the collapse of his marriages with Christine, Yanel, and Meri. Rather than express regret or introspection, he veered into a now-familiar rant about loyalty, obedience, and betrayal. Fans were stunned as he seemed to paint himself as the victim in nearly every scenario, claiming that his former wives failed to meet his emotional needs and undermined the family's unity. He described their departures as personal attacks rather than acts of self-liberation. Viewers immediately took to social media to decry what they saw as gaslighting and manipulation, with many accusing Kody of rewriting history to fit his narrative. Perhaps even more cringeworthy was his strange insistence on comparing the emotional labor required in his plural marriages to being at war. He used analogies involving soldiers and battlefields, suggesting that his ex-wives had abandoned their posts and left him defenseless. These metaphors landed poorly with fans, who felt they minimized the emotional abuse and neglect experienced by his partners. In particular, Christine Brown's exit from the family was widely seen as an empowering moment of self-love and independence, but Kody's retelling framed her as selfish and vindictive. Instead of acknowledging her strength, he seemed to mock it, calling her decision dramatic and accusing her of exaggerating their marital issues. Yanel Brown, who has maintained a relatively neutral stance throughout much of the series, also became a target during the tell-all. Kody accused her of being emotionally cold and more committed to her children than to him. This sparked a strong reaction from fans who pointed out that Yanel had every right to prioritize her children, especially given the lack of emotional support from her husband. One particularly unsettling moment came when Kody chuckled dismissively as he recalled arguments with Yanel, seemingly amused by her frustration rather than remorseful. This behavior was widely condemned as tone-deaf and inappropriate, adding fuel to the already raging fire of online criticism. But it wasn't just his comments about his ex-wives that drew ire. Kody's interactions with the tell-all host also came under scrutiny. He frequently interrupted, dismissed questions he didn't like, and grew visibly agitated when challenged. At one point, he snapped, "You're just trying to trap me," when asked a straightforward question about his current relationship with Robyn. This defensive posture, coupled with a smirk that never quite left his face, gave the impression of a man deeply uncomfortable with accountability. Instead of providing insight, he offered excuses. Instead of reflection, he deflected blame. Meanwhile, Robyn sat quietly during much of the tell-all, her expressions a mixture of discomfort and quiet approval. When she did speak, she often parroted Kody's narratives or offered vague statements about loyalty and heartbreak. While she may have intended to play peacemaker, her silence in the face of Kody's attacks on his ex-wives only further cemented her status as the favorite wife in the eyes of viewers. For many fans, Robyn's passive role during the tell-all reinforced suspicions that she had long been a divisive force in the family's dynamic. The social media fallout was swift and intense. Within hours of the tell-all airing, hashtags like #CodyBrownExposed and #SisterWivesTellAll backlash began trending across platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok. Longtime fans of the series posted reaction videos, tearful testimonials, and compilations of what they deemed the most disrespectful moments. One viral clip showed Kody waving his hand dismissively as he spoke about Mary's loyalty, saying, "She stayed too long, honestly." The coldness of the remark shocked even the show's most jaded viewers. Comment sections lit up with anger, with many demanding that TLC hold Kody accountable or consider shifting the show's focus away from him altogether. Mental health experts who weighed in online pointed out that Kody's behavior during the tell-all bore the hallmarks of narcissistic projection and emotional avoidance. Rather than own his role in the breakdown of 4 separate marriages, he appeared to offload all responsibility onto others. Fans who had once sympathized with his efforts to manage a complex family structure now saw him as emotionally manipulative and unwilling to engage in genuine self-examination. The term emotional abuser was used more frequently in discussions surrounding the tell-all than ever before, indicating a serious shift in public perception. The backlash hasn't been limited to social media. According to insider reports, TLC executives were caught off guard by the intensity of viewer responses. While controversy often fuels reality TV ratings, there is growing concern that Kody's behavior may have crossed a line from entertaining to toxic. Advertisers have reportedly voiced hesitations about continued sponsorship of the show, particularly if Kody remains its central figure without a visible arc of personal growth. Some fans have even launched petitions calling for a spin-off that follows the lives of Christine, Yanel, and Mary independent of Kody. Ironically, the tell-all may have revealed more about Kody than any season of the show to date. For years, viewers have speculated about what lies beneath the carefully curated image of a plural husband. With the masks now seemingly off, what remains is a portrait of a man who appears increasingly isolated, misunderstood, and unwilling to evolve. His stubborn clinging to a version of the truth that paints him as a perpetual victim has alienated him not only from his former wives but from the very audience that once rooted for his success. While the long-term impact of the tell-all remains to be seen, one thing is clear: Kody Brown's public image has taken a significant hit. The man who once invited viewers into his world with the promise of love, unity, and faith now finds himself the target of widespread disappointment. Fans no longer see him as the ambitious father striving to balance a large and diverse family. Instead, he is seen as a cautionary tale of ego unchecked, love mismanaged, and accountability avoided. As TLC begins to map out future seasons and potential spin-offs, the network will have to grapple with the complicated legacy of Kody Brown. Will he be allowed a path to redemption, or has the damage been done? Can the Sister Wives franchise survive the implosion of its central figure, or will it be reborn through the voices of the women who chose to walk away? These questions loom large in the aftermath of a tell-all that was anything but healing. In the end, the backlash Kody Brown faces is more than just a response to a cringy television moment. It's a reckoning. A mirror held up to years of unresolved tension, emotional neglect, and unmet expectations. And for the fans who have watched the Brown family grow, fracture, and redefine itself, this tell-all may represent a final chapter in Kody's reign as the story's central voice. The spotlight has shifted, and in doing so, it has illuminated not just the cracks in a family but the painful truths behind a man once seen as the pillar of it all.